Chicago is quite possibly the best North American city for train enthusiasts, and today we're going to explore two of its best spots. Even on the weekend, there's hundreds of trains running, so enough talking, let's get trackside. Beginning at the south end of downtown Chicago, we're set up at Roosevelt Road, where one can get a great view of the skyline looming over the tracks heading south from Union Station. Working in the yard here is Amtrak 8 number 517, going into the coach yard to pick up a few Superliner cars. This locomotive used to see regular passenger service, but nowadays, much like the rest of Amtrak's Dash 8s, it's generally relegated to switching in yards. Next up, after the switcher backed into the yard, two Metra BNSF line trains met, one heading west to Aurora and one heading into the darkness of Union Station. Both trains were powered by Metra's unique F40PHM-3 locomotives, otherwise known as the Winnebagos thanks to their unique nose designs. These odd-looking F40s are used almost exclusively on Metra's lines on the south side, and they seem to be fan favorites. Next up, the northbound Amtrak Lincoln service came through with a duo of Siemens Charger locomotives. This group of SC-44s originally purchased for Amtrak Midwest service were some of the first Chargers ever built, however they won't be the last Chargers we'll see today. After just barely catching Amtrak's City of New Orleans backing into Union Station, I lucked out seeing them pull back out to the yard. Leading is a duo of brand new long-distance ALC-42 Charger locomotives, both of which are in the interim Phase 6 paint scheme. The City of New Orleans is one of just a few long-distance Amtrak routes to receive these locomotives so far, but over the course of the next year, they'll begin to be spread out across all long-distance routes. Additionally, in a few years, when the ALC-42s are in widespread service, and all Phase 6 lash-up will be pretty rare, as the majority of the locomotives will be painted in the slightly different Phase 7. After lucking out with a quick turnaround of the City of New Orleans, I prepared to leave, but much to my surprise, the action picked up once again. On the left, a Metra BNSF line train moved around the yard, while on the other side, the Amtrak Switcher continued to move Superliners around. Between these two trains switching was the Amtrak Cardinal backing down into the yard after sitting in Union Station all morning. Apparently, trains routinely wait all morning at Union Station before yarding here, so I certainly lucked out with the Chargers. speaking of good luck, on the tail end of the Cardinal was P42 number 203, the Operation Lifesaver unit. This locomotive was painted into this scheme earlier this year to celebrate OLI's 50th anniversary, spreading awareness for railroad safety. Anyways, after this, I headed out, enjoying the non-train aspect of Chicago for the afternoon. However, around 5 o'clock, I headed back out trackside to the Clinton Street Flyover, where Metro's Union Pacific lines cross over the lines heading north from Union Station. To start the action, a Metra outbound emerged from the shadows of Union Station with the second Operation Lifesaver unit of the day. Of course, slightly less extravagant, Metra MP36 number 413 sports a small Operation Lifesaver logo on the back. A few minutes later, up above, a Union Pacific GP15 moved around at the Ogilvie Transportation Center. Unlike most commuter railroads in North America, which are state-funded, Metra's lines here at OTC are actually operated by Union Pacific, a private freight railroad. Anyways, this would be the last time we'd see this GP15 switching here, as it headed west, likely returning to the UP yard west of here. After that brief intermission between passenger trains, the action picked up quite a bit, with an outbound train from OTC passing over an outbound from Union Station with one of Metro's uncommon F59PHs. While I'd been to this spot once in the past, this was the first time I'd seen an improper flyover here, and I must say it's pretty cool to see. A little while later, another outbound left OTC with a recently rebuilt F40PH-3, something that seems relatively uncommon up here. For whatever reason, this afternoon, the Union Pacific line seemed to be ruled by the non-rebuilt F40PH-2s. Speaking of F40PH-2s, two outbounds left Ogilvie simultaneously, both with F40PH-2s. As I said earlier, even on a weekend there's quite a bit of action in Chicago, especially here at Clinton Street.